What's going on, Bulls Nation? Woo! Welcome into the CHGO Bulls podcast presented by PointsBet. Don't forget that promo code CHGO when you sign up to live your bet life. I'm Matt. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. He's on Twitter at BAW, BAWL Sports. Coming to you live here from Studio B in our West Loop studios here at CHGO. We got our producer Joey hanging out with us. And joining us in that adorable little bubble, Mr. Will, the GOAT Gottlieb. He's on Twitter at Woke Gottlieb. Won't he do it? Hi, Will.
What's up, dudes?
You ready to talk about exit interviews?
I was just about to say, how are we feeling about Zach LaVine right now?
I'm feeling great. I feel amazing.
Way more fine than apparently the average Bulls fan.
Yeah.
So, in our remote pod episode yesterday, we kind of started digging into some of the exit interviews of the other players who spoke yesterday, Vooch and Lonzo and everybody else. And so today we heard from Bulls Executive Vice President of Basketball Ops, Arturas Karnisovas, a.k.a. AK. Wow, a.k.a. AK. That's crazy.
Well done.
And Bulls head coach Billy Donovan and Zach LaVine. So we're going to go through their thoughts about the season that just ended, the upcoming offseason, because there's a lot of juicy tidbits to dive into, shall we say.
A lot of meat on the bones here, guys.
Yeah, dude, he literally said the same phrase.
That's what he said.
That's crazy.
Oh, Will, you amazing person.
Same.
Yes.
Same.
All right, so let's start with AK, who had a lot of interesting things to say. But I liked the one that you tweeted out, Will, of just kind of his thoughts on the Bulls Bucks series, saying, this is a make or miss league, and unfortunately, that didn't work out for us in the Bucks series. AKA, we missed all of our shots.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny because so being in these media press rooms and trying to tweet live tweet as it's going on is really difficult. So you can only get bits and pieces before you forget what they said, and it's hard to get the whole quote. But essentially what he said prior to that was the first two games went exactly how we would have hoped. They were competitive. We were there. The first game we both missed shots, but we hung with them. Second game we both made shots and we were able to gut it out. And then in the third, fourth, and fifth games, it didn't really go how we wanted it to. It was make or miss league, and that part of it just did not work out for us. So it's true though. Looking back at a lot of those games, and I know we've talked about it, and I don't want to dwell on it too much. I think they did a lot of the right things throughout that series on both sides of the ball. But if it's not going in, it's not going in.
Yeah, let me ask you, Will, while you were watching that and going through just watching that whole interview process with AK, by the way, AK looked amazing in the three-piece with the vest, smooth, with the Chicago lapel joint on the side. He looked incredible right there. I was very proud of him on that. But what was your feeling, though, after coming out of that? Did you feel like he was more forthcoming, he was more truthful, or did you feel like he was giving a little lip service there?
I think he probably a little bit of both. I mean, I think he genuinely wants to share how, to a certain extent, what he's thinking, but it's so hard to know at this point. There are other teams still playing. You don't know who's going to want a trade. You don't know who's going to be available to you at 18 in the draft. So what I really respect about the way that AK and his staff, which includes Eversley and JJ Polk and Tim Conley, everybody top to bottom, Steve Wyman, all these guys are really smart. And I think what they've done is come up with a plan that they want to execute, and they either go out and do it or they quickly adjust to the next thing. And I think in the past, we haven't really seen that ability to adjust or go to plan B. And I think that's caused a lot of stagnation through the years. So I'm very excited. Obviously, they didn't do anything when they first took over. They went crazy at the deadline. Then they went even crazier last summer and then stood pat again at the deadline. I'm expecting moves, but I do think they are still sort of in that evaluation phase. And knowing whether or not Zach is going to resign is a huge piece of that.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you in what AK said, meaning we're probably going to look to make a couple of adjustments, but we do want to keep this core together. Joey, do we have that one specific quote from AK to throw up? There we go. Saying, we've always been ready for what comes our way. Hopefully we can keep the core together and work around the margins. We're going to look in free agency and see what we need. We'll be in the draft picking at 18. We have Portland's pick, so we have a couple of assets with AK there, maybe at the back end talking about ways that they could get creative this offseason. But the first part to me is the headline. We like this core. AK said it at the trade deadline when they didn't make any big splash moves, saying when this team was healthy and playing together for the first, 10 games, 20 games of the season, when Lonzo was out there, when Zach was out there before the knee got started bugging him, they liked what they saw, and what they saw was a top 5 offense and a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what AK said there makes perfect sense to me, Dave.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Perfect sense. You know what it was like watching that? It was like guys who were in a bunker the entire way didn't know what was going on in the world because they were just all in a bunker. And when they came out the bunker, they were like, well, okay, hey, good first season, guys. Everything was nice. Everything was cool. We were at war. And now, we're here to replenish, you know what I'm saying? And in the meantime, everything's just going insane, while they're in the bunker and, Bulls fans freaking out, doing all that crazy stuff. But yeah, I thought it was so, I don't know what it did for me. I don't know why it did this for me, but it just gave me more calm. Just hearing him speak and saying, no, dude, this is year one. What are y'all talking about? What are you freaking out? This is year one. We want to get some continuity, which is the buzzword. Like right there is continuity. That definitely has been said a lot. But we want to get some continuity. These teams that we're going against have 3 to 5 years, being together, which is definitely what Will said yesterday when we were on the podcast together talking about getting cultures, things like that. So he was like, yeah, we have to build that. Like, that doesn't just come in 1 year. And after you get 1 year, you go back and you do it again, and you get at it again and you get guys comfortable at it. Because remember, guys, like for the past few years, we have not had that. As far as like either coaches were changing or new draft picks were coming in or guys would just be injured. Like you didn't have a chance to build anything. Like Zach LaVine was the only person. It was like, there's Zach.
He's the only constant.
That's it. Your coaches were changing all the time. The players around you were changing. There were new guys. There were rookies. Guys would just be out for the year. Like this is the first time they can actually go in with a good plan, Will, and actually build on that with a good coach and a good staff and a good everything. So I think that's what gives me the calm when I hear AK talk like that.
And I think this is right, but this is the first year that Zach has had the same coach for 2 seasons in a row. Yeah. So, yeah, we're talking about continuity. There's certainly a fine line that you have to walk as far as like, building up the roster, adding the right pieces. But I tend to agree that you need to have these core foundations in place. And whether that means keeping all of the like sort of top 6 guys or maybe moving Kobe or Vucevic or whoever it is, there will be some moves that are made. There have to be, because at this point, not only did you see that, you're not as good as you maybe thought you were when you're 38-21 at the top of the East going into the All-Star break, but you do have something there. You just need to be able to sustain that and weather those storms when these guys do have injuries. So I definitely expect some roster moves, whether it's just the draft picks and maybe some smaller level moves here and there. Hopefully they use the trade exception that they got through Daniel Tice. And then they also have one more exception, the mid-level exception that they can use, which is about $10 million. So they've got some room. It's a matter of like how much money they want to spend, what pieces they want to move. But I do agree overall that the big theme here is consistency and continuity. And I don't see why, barring Zach LaVine walking in free agency, I don't see why there would be any major changes to the roster.
Yeah, and I think AK's talking about continuity doesn't mean that they won't, as he also said, look to make some improvements to the roster around the margins. What they want to see is this core stay together and build some continuity together. And in addition to that, say, okay, where were we weak this year? Where were we thin this year? And how can we get better? And obviously, some of the things that they're probably going to be looking at when it comes to that is we need more three-point shooting. We could certainly use a quality wing defender, and we can use some athletic rim protection.
Yes.
So yeah, they're. How they do that, let's watch and see how they get creative to try and make those margin moves, as AK called them. Yeah. But I don't have an issue with we would like to see some continuity with this core that we put together last year, because again, when that core was playing together, they were pretty darn good. But here's the other side of the argument from Kyle in the comments.
Oh, Lord.
The media day was all buzzwords. You can't keep saying we need to build continuity with guys like DeMar and Vooch getting old as hell. Excuses. Can't please everybody on media day, guys.
I mean, what did you want to hear? Like, we're going to win it all. You know what I'm saying? We're going for the championship. I even like that response when they asked AK, are the Bulls like a championship contender? He was like, we got a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the first thing. I'm not about to sit here and tell you that we're championship contender. We got a lot of work to do. This is year one.
Yeah.
And I think people have to continue to remember this is year one. You know what I mean? It's a step. It's a process in building the culture. All right. This is how it has to be, Will. And I love the logic that AK speaks with. You know what I mean? It's not hope when it's out his voice. You know what I mean? It's logical. You know what I mean? When he's saying these things.
Yeah. And the goal with all these things, whether it's, a post-game press conference with Billy or, an end of season exit interview with AK, the goal is to say as much as you can without saying anything, because information is everything in this league. And if you tip your hand, that could cost you in a huge way. So, it doesn't surprise me that you're not hearing any details. Like, you can ask about them, but they're not going to say anything. And that's strategic. It's intentional. Clearly some moves will be made. We don't know how, but I think the other thing is, AK had a lot of hits in this past summer. I mean, bringing in DeRozan worked out way better than even the people who thought it was going to go well. It worked out way better than that. Lonzo, I think for the most part, while he was on the court, was like smashing success. Same with Caruso. But there were other moves where, you were left wanting more, or, you felt like they overpaid for Vucevic or overpaid for DeMar at the time, both money wise and also having to give up Thad and a pick for him. So I think around the margins and around the fringes is where they're going to have to do a lot of their work this summer. But again, you recognize what they're able to do and like the talent that they're able to see and how that could fit together. Like, nobody thought Caruso was going to turn into like a core. I mean, he was like a good role player for Lakers. Nobody thought he was going to turn into like a core starter playing 36 minutes on a team that went to, that was first in the East, or, the way that Lonzo and DeRozan would elevate beyond whatever their talent level is. So I think that those guys will be able to find other prospects, whether it's in the draft or free agency, around the margins. I think they'll be okay, even if they're not necessarily saying what they're going to do here at exit interviews.
Yeah.
Charlie saying, Chocolate Salty Bulls saying this free agency lacks talent, especially 3-and-D. The return of Otto Porter Jr. ?
Stop this.
Can we not?
Why do y'all want these former Bulls players back so bad?
Hasn't it been weird to see Otto actually playing and contributing to the Warriors every once in a while?
No, it's not weird for me. I predicted it when he went there. I was like, watch what's going to happen. This dude is going to be automatically healthy and be playing.
If he ever comes back and wears a Bulls jersey again, he's going to have 2 broken legs. Yeah, and he's never going to see the floor.
Right, and you know why? Because he needs a new contract. And so he's like, wait a minute, my leg feels a little better out there, coach. Put me in, coach. Like, I'm feeling a little good. Yeah, when he was getting his money, he was injured all the time with everybody. The ankle feels a little hurt, but now he's playing for something. Remember, this is the first time he's playing on a team that's trying to win something also. So, yeah, it's a little different. I did see that terrible pass he threw on the inbounds. I thought that was perfectly bad that he threw that in. But besides the fact they're going to the second round.
Did you see Draymond throw that, like, one-arm cannon to the corner and just hit him right in the face?
In the noggin. Right there, dog. Hit him right in the noggin, dog. Like, man, dude. But yeah, no. The answer is no. No, I don't want Otto Porter Jr. back. I don't want any of those Bulls back.
But speaking of guys like Otto Porter, who veteran minimum signed, obviously has been a very good player in his past, not necessarily with the Bulls, but you see a team like the Warriors who needs some veteran depth, and because you know what they're going to give you, guys want to go play with them. And I think the Bulls fall into that category now, where you have a really good top end of the roster that really needs depth, that needs veteran depth, somebody who can come in and play a little point guard, definitely needs some shooters. Like, guys are going to want to come play with the core that the Bulls have in place. So I do think that's an advantage that they have not had in many years, especially now sort of creeping up against higher up into the tax. Like, you're going to have to try to find guys like that on the margins. I think the Bulls are going to be in position to do that.
And also, Will, I liked when AK said that as well, how he was surprised at how
Guys
many players wanted to come here and be with the Bulls and play here with the Chicago Bulls. Man, we talked about that a lot in the offseason, how getting DeMar here was going to lead to that kind of thing for the Chicago Bulls. And they're like, oh, snap, yeah, this is what happens when you're doing stuff the right way, guys. Teams look at and see this stuff, man. Again, this is why Zach LaVine's got to get his money. Hello, this is why it's got to go down.
Yeah, we'll talk about what Zach had to say and what Billy had to say still ahead on today's episode. But first, Big Dave, tell the people about all the fun at PointsBet.
Oh, don't they want to know? Don't they want to know what's going on there?
I do.
I know you do. I know Will does too. First of all, look at the hair on Will. Can we just marvel at that for a second?
Flawless.
Can we do that just for 1 second? All right, just wanted to do that for a second, y'all. So listen, y'all know what it is. If you want to continue supporting what we do here at CHGO, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. You go ahead and get that PointsBet app, and you go download it, and it's free. And after you download it, we'll give you stuff. What stuff will we give you? How about 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, y'all? All right? And that's not it. No. Because if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you're going to receive that free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of that web content, and you'll even get a free t-shirt of your choice from that CHGO locker. And that's 2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, a free t-shirt of your choice. Joey, do you have one to see it? That's a dope shirt. I know it's not CHGO. I'm just telling you, that's a dope shirt. That's a dope
thanks,
shirt.
Big Dave.
I like it. I dig it, man. And you'll even get a free t-shirt of your choice from that CHGO locker, all for making a $50 or more first-time deposit at PointsBet. And introducing the live NBA same-game parlay pack. For the first time ever, you can build the perfect live NBA same-game parlay, and you can do that only with PointsBet. You can combine your favorite bets anytime during the game, and if you want more,
and we know you do,
you can also boost your live same-game parlays. You can watch live, parlay live, boost live, and partay live with PointsBet. And for all the people in this beautiful city of Chicago, where the weather is finally normal, and this wonderful state of Illinois, you can download that PointsBet app and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. So what are you waiting for? I don't know what you're doing. Go get it, because once the game starts, you don't just bet. Wheel the thrill. Tell them what they do.
Live your bet life.
Oh, Joey, please.
What is that one from, Joey?
Is that SpongeBob?
Yeah, that was SpongeBob.
Yeah, I'm about to.
I don't know. I don't have all the usual sound effects to work with in Studio B. I got to load them in here.
It's all right, man. I like it. I dug it.
What? I wonder what he was ready for. Other than PointsBet,
What do you never seen SpongeBob, Matt?
No, we've
No,
been
we had
over
this
this,
discussion.
Joey.
Oh, right.
I'm
That's the episode where he's
too
riding
old.
the bike. He's like, I think he's ready to take the driving test, maybe. He does that a bunch.
Yeah.
Really good show.
A sponge can't drive a
He
car.
drives
Joey.
a boat, actually. He drives a boat under the water.
I see.
Under the sea.
That's a weird concept for a show.
Really is.
Today's episode also brought to you guys by Manscaped. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code BULLS, BULLS,
Balls.
at manscaped.com. 4 million people. I'm one of them.
Oh.
That's 8 million balls collectively. That's so many balls
Get
that
your
are
boy,
being
Will.
cared for, treated, and protected with products from Manscaped. And now, the brand new version, the 4.0 lawnmower. The trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever. I'm willing to say that. I'm willing to say that.
All right.
Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology.
Ooh, I like
that
that.
skin-safe technology, it's so good they trademarked it.
You're going to need it.
Yeah. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 400K LED spotlight to make the job even easier for you.
Nice.
Their Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner will change the way you approach your hygiene routine. Trust me when I say it, fellas, your balls will thank you.
Thank you.
It's true. They will. So right now, here's what you do. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BULLS, BULLS, at manscaped.com. Get yourself that Lawnmower 4.0 package. Comes with that. You're also going to get the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer and that ball deodorant and the Reviver toner.
That's 4 things.
Plus a free pair of boxer briefs and a travel bag like a top kit. It's so many things.
More free things.
And you're going to get it for 20% off if you use code BULLS at checkout at manscaped.com.
Amazing.
Do it.
Do it.
Manscaped. Take care of your balls.
Take care of it. You know what I like is the package that it comes in, man. Oh, it really feels official when you get that package. You know what I mean?
Feel like you're getting something that arrived from outer space.
Yeah, man. Like it's a Grammy inside or something.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
like, it's really
So
like
many
that
layers
official.
of unboxing.
Yeah,
It looks so
man.
official.
And you keep going through it, Will. Like you're going through this stuff, and it's like, wow, it's more stuff in here, man.
Yeah.
I love the box. It was great.
Did you guys get some from this or from in the past? I didn't get my
What?
welcome package.
You didn't get your Manscaped welcome package?
No.
Oh, well, we have to
gotta get on
remedy
this.
that.
Yeah, we gotta
I
get
haven't
on
even
this.
gotten my CHGO shirt. I'm gonna have to have a discussion with somebody about that.
They all came. You just haven't been here.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
shirts came. Yeah, they
Mr.
did.
Traveling
they're at
Man.
the office?
The shirts are at the studio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
My
man.
fault.
I didn't get Manscaped either, Will, if it makes you feel better, or Athletic
I thought
Greens.
I put down my address. I figured it was coming here.
Yeah, mine arrived at my house.
Yeah, mine came to my
Oh,
house.
well, yeah, the ones I ordered separately did.
Yeah.
They just forgot about you then. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
But-
No one forgets about the goat. How dare they?
You should make sure you get on that because it's seriously an amazing collection.
It
of
really
products.
is. It really truly is. Honestly, came from.
Hey, Will, your balls will thank you. That's not just a tagline; it's a real thing. All right, moving on. Continuing to talk about Bulls exit
Help me,
interviews. Let's go to Billy next.
Okay.
So here was my favorite quote from Billy Donovan. Thank you, Joey. Talking about this season being a successful one, saying the success piece to me was with what we had to endure. It takes a special group mentally when you're dealing with the things that we're dealing with. And then, of course, he fleshed out some of the details of that. Obviously, the entire team going through their turn in COVID protocols, injury upon injury upon injury. The fact that guys were repeatedly called upon to step up and play a larger role than the one they had been playing because somebody went out, another player went out, another player went out. Look, I don't take any issue with Billy describing that part of the season being successful because to me it seemed, at least for on the surface level, that Billy and his players really did rally around each other this season, and it was a hard end to the season, but they fought through a lot of difficult stuff.
Yeah, they did, and they were better for it. You know what I mean? They'll be a better team for that fight that they went through. And they got the right coach to do it, man. Like, Billy Donovan really is that right coach. Every time I hear him speak, I'm like, yes, he's the one. Like, I'm so glad he's here. Like, I get happy that he is here coaching our team because I love his optimism because it's always logical. And Will has said this a lot. How Billy Donovan continued to warn people what was coming, for this team and how good they were playing, but continue to say, dude, this defense ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Guys, I get it. This is great, but something's going to happen. That's logical optimism. He's happy that they're winning. He's bigging up his guys, but he's also looking at the bigger picture. You love people like that, not just coaching, but in life. You know what I mean? You want people around you like that, man. I love what Billy Donovan had to say at this. The other thing I love that he said, guys, was when he talked about the things that he wants the Bulls to improve on, they need. And he was like, better health and shooting. He did not. I was like, bro, he didn't even mention defense.
Did not mince words.
He didn't do it, Will. He ain't do it. Go ahead.
The thing for me that was good to hear was sort of the synergy between Billy and AK in the front office as far as like what they're going to do this offseason to put together a roster. I feel like in the past it's been kind of two different departments coexisting as opposed to like really working together. And it seems like Billy is a part of those conversations, is providing his input, is doing the day-to-day stuff. And, AK is sitting in the back and sort of looking big picture. And I think you really need to have that top-down mentality and synergy in your front office. Like you see all the best teams in the league, that's how they operate, and all the worst teams, they don't operate that way. That's how the Bulls had operated in the past. So I'm very excited about that. And whether Billy is the coach long term, I definitely expect him back next year, but who knows? Like, coaches get recycled in the league a lot. That's just kind of how it goes. But I do really think that he did a great job this year, especially given sort of the hand that he was dealt with all these injuries. I know they didn't really perform towards the end after the injuries hit, but I think just having everybody buy in and sort of establishing the foundation that they had early on in the year, I think that goes a long way towards starting to develop on top of that for next year. And the thing that I liked that he said the most today was that like that starts now, that starts today. And it kind of echoed what DeRozan had said yesterday, like, I'm going to take a week off and then I'm going to LA and you guys are coming with me to wake up at 4 a.m. and we're getting in the gym. And I think that's really true. You have to prepare for the next season starting, next week.
And guys aren't used to that on this team. You know what I'm saying? You're not used to having somebody say, take a week. I'm about to bust your ass in practice after that is over. You're not used to that, man. So it's great. And the fact that Billy and AK are super on board with it as well. You know, they both said, oh, dude, great. Yes, give them hell. All of them. They need all of this stuff. So, again, everybody just in unison is what I take.
And the fact that they trust DeMar to be a perfectly capable host. And it's not about like, oh, no, we want you to work out this summer, but it has to be in our building. Remember that phrase and how much it used to piss me off? No, go work out at DeMar's house. Go to sunny California. Fine.
Great. Get away. We don't care. Even just to add to that point of a flashback, when Will said, and it starts today, I kind of flinched.
And it starts today.
And I kind of flinched for a second. And I was like, oh, Lord. I was like, oh, okay, good. We're good. We're good. The nightmare's over.
That shot of him in the car.
Oh, God.
You like every time I see that little clip of and it starts, I expect him to pull a Michael and just like run over one of his employees as he pulls into the parking lot.
Oh man.
It's
over.
One of the other things that Billy mentioned that I thought was interesting, Will, was describing what his expectations for the Rook, Ayo Dosunmu, were coming into the season, and then how those sort of changed and adapted based on the bodies that were out for the Bulls and what he saw as Ayo's ability to sort of evolve in just his rookie year as someone who Billy saw more as a two guard, more as an off guard, and then handing him a fair amount of point guard responsibilities midway through the season. What did you think about that?
Yeah, he said the plan was never to play Ayo heavy minutes, let alone heavy minutes at point guard. And as a result of all these injuries, he kind of had to decide if he was going to make Zach take on that role or give it to Ayo. And he even said, like, I played Ayo too many minutes in certain games and just on the season as a whole. So I think that's a great opportunity for a guy like Ayo. And I asked Billy a similar question about Patrick of like, look, we've seen what Patrick can do when you put the ball in his hands. He scored 35 in Minnesota. He had 20 in the last two playoff games because he was sort of more of a featured part of the offense. What is the vision for him moving forward? Because it doesn't really seem like spot up shooter is the role for him. And I think the opportunity for Patrick to jump into that role wasn't there as much as it was for Ayo. And that happened to be great experience for Ayo, developing on the court and just learning the game. And I think that's really important when you're talking about all these young players, is just the ability to like understand what it means to be a professional every day, to go out and get better and adjust to the scouting report now that you're on it. And I think that's something that we've seen Kobe and Patrick struggle with a little bit more. So it's great to see Ayo, do a great job of that as the season went on.
Let me ask you this, Will. There was something brought up to AK that I thought was interesting, and that was Mark Eversley, whose name has been out there, as far as a guy who can, go in and maybe what leaves the Chicago Bulls to take over another franchise. Portland, any of those teams are out there for sure. What did you make of AK's response to that? And do you think that's something Bulls fans should be concerned about?
He didn't really say anything. He was like, I really enjoy working with Mark and I hope I can keep working with Mark. So, I take that for what it is. I would imagine that other teams looking for executives would be interested in him. He's done a great job. I think he had a lot to do with DeMar, and has great relationships with players across the league and just kind of seems ready for that opportunity in the same way that Arturas was when he was the GM of the Nuggets. So wouldn't surprise me, but also I think there's an element of we have some unfinished business here, and it wouldn't surprise me if he wanted to stick around and see it through.
I like that. like that.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, I'm with that. We
I'm
got
down
stuff
with
to
that,
finish, baby.
I mean, and we all know how important Mark was for the biggest offseason move, which was getting DeMar DeRozan here.
Colossal.
Obviously, you hope that Mark continues to get the opportunities in his career that he deserves and that he wants. But the Bulls just did the same thing to the Nuggets. We're like, oh, that guy Arturas seems pretty smart. Yoink. So, it seems, I don't know about you guys, it still kind of seems to me like they just got here.
Yeah.
AK and Mark and Billy. But, it's been 2 seasons now. But it feels like they just got here because the other people were here for way too long.
Yeah, for me, it's 1 season. Like,
right.
For me, this is like their first full season.
Some Bulls fans object to that, though.
That's fine.
Because I've said that before. I'm like, guys, this is basically season 1.
It's a season
because
1.
they got here and had to evaluate what they inherited.
Yeah.
And then they got to the end of those evaluations and said, oh, we need to change everything.
Go ahead, Will.
I think I disagree with you guys. I think this is definitely year 2 for me because anybody who watches basketball could tell you what the evaluation of the players that were on the roster was. So for me, I was like ready to, but of course I was a little bit, too in it, too invested.
Yeah.
But I felt like there could have been some moves that happened a little bit early on. And if they did, maybe, the Bulls make the playoffs last year and don't lose out on that 8th pick or whatever it was. But obviously I don't have any regrets about how things went down. But at the time, especially when the decision to move on from previous head coach came a little later than I think we all would have thought, I was a little frustrated. But
oh no, it came on
we're
the
in a
day
great
he
spot
could
now.
go. No, the day he could get out of here is the day they said you out of here. Like, period, point. I loved every second of it. And for me, Will, it's different because I remember when they both got here, and the first thing they kept saying was they were looking at the talent. They were like, how is this team not in the playoffs? Like, they both said that. Like, how's this team not in the playoffs? We don't understand why. So that let me know they kind of had to go through it. Like, everybody else kind of knew, but they had to actually swim to realize how murky and deep those waters are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and maybe you want to evaluate it with a better coach. So I think that is probably a part of it. But yeah, I mean, certainly some of the guys I think could have been flipped a little sooner.
Okay.
And I won't name names.
I still think they were going to have a playoff run in if Zach didn't come down with COVID like he did right there.
And the last season, you mean?
Yeah.
I think they could have made the play-in.
Could have made play-in at least, yeah. They were close. They were right there, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah,
it's
neither here nor there.
Yeah. Real quick before we move on to Zach, because I'm sure we'll want to spend a good amount of time talking about Zach's exit meeting thoughts because Bulls fans are freaking out about it. When Billy was talking about how he and AK and Eversley and Pogue and Conley, these guys have all built up such a quality relationship, a working relationship, and he said, we see things similarly, competitively. How much do you think that Billy might be involved in these margin moves that AK is talking about this offseason? Like, do you think maybe Billy already is making himself a list of some players around the league who could be attainable, who he would see as useful to what he's trying to run here?
Yeah, I think for me, at least the way I interpret it is, okay, Billy is coaching the team every day. He's making the personnel decisions as far as who gets to play together, how many minutes. And when you're managing all that stuff, you quickly see, hey, we're lacking defense on the second unit. Or, when Lonzo went down, we don't have anybody who can come in and contribute and make up for some of that 3-point shooting or ability to get out in transition. These are the sort of targets or shortcomings of the roster that we need to add. And so here, I'm going to tell this to Arturas. I'm sure, obviously, it's not that hard to read. Arturas probably can see that as well. But, based on my experience coaching X, Y, or Z guy or competing against, some guy on another team, like who are some of the guys that could fill the certain things that we need to fill on this roster. So I don't know how it really works. I imagine Billy won't go into Arturas's office and say, like, I demand we go get, X, Y, or Z player. But I really appreciate the fact that it seems like it's a working partnership. Like I said, where in the past, I don't think that has always been the case because there's been just so much coaching turnover. And it was always about who was going to be the next guy that the front office could put in, as opposed to who's the front office going to work with here.
Knowledge right there.
Lil Yumper said, if you had to guess now, is Vooch on this roster at the start of next year? If I had to guess now, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I mean, I know that that's probably not the answer that a lot of Bulls fans and the members of Vooch Hater Nation out there want to hear, but
Vooch Hater Nation.
where is Mark K when you need him? the president Vooch apologist. All right, we're going to get to Zach. A lot of thoughts on Zach.
Uh-oh.
But first, Big Dave.
Strava Coffee is how you want to start your day. It's how you want to continue your day and how you want to end your day. Smooth, cool, chilling with deliciousness all on your tongue. That's what you want in your life. It's a game changer. It's helped thousands of people improve their overall wellness and quality of life. It delivers delicious, freshly roasted specialty coffee infused with organic broad spectrum CBD. Now, CBD is from hemp, but it doesn't make you high. It does not make you hungry, but it does offer you the real benefits. All right? It can help you feel alert, focused without all them jitters. You can live your day more balanced, less anxiety, fewer aches and pains. Plus, including CBD in your daily routine, can even help you enjoy a more restful sleep so you can wake up feeling your best. Look at this man right here. That's a Strava man, ladies and gentlemen. That's a Strava man right there. All right? It's all about that quality. Everything is in small batch. All right? Fresh and shipped straight to your door. You know you want this. I think you want them tinctures. That's my favorite thing that Matt says, is the tinctures.
Tinctures, baby.
I love when he says that. All right. The CHGO listeners can save 25% off of their entire purchase when you use the code CHGO25. That's 25% off your entire order at StravaCraftCoffee.com when you use the code CHGO25 and use that at checkout. Discount coupon valid on non-subscription purchases. Only one use per customer. Oh, I did that.
Boom.
I did that.
Strava Coffee will have you living your bet life.
Yeah. It's two of my favorite things. My daily go-tos.
You drink the Strava and then you use PointsBet?
Oh, yeah. Well, I got to wake myself up
Wake
so that my
up
mind
with
is
a
sharp
little cup of Strava Coffee,
to make my bets.
Put in your 5-leg same game parlay.
Exactly. My parlay, I went 5 out of 6 on my parlay in the Mavs Jazz game, the nightcap last night.
Yeah.
But it's okay because I also just put a big fat chunk of change on the Mavs to win outright and close that series.
And
I was doing it for our pal Sabine.
yes.
And they got the dub.
Got
the dub.
Yes.
The Mavs' first playoff series win since they won the chip in 2011.
Oh, I know.
Crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Crazy. Very happy for them, man.
All right. Now,
Sorry,
going
Utah.
back to exit interviews, let's kick off with this comment from Jock, who said, DeJounte knows something we don't, referencing the DeJounte Murray tweet that has since been deleted from last night. Yeah. And it was in case you missed
that's
it.
tampering.
It was a Photoshopped picture.
Give me your second round pick back.
It was a Photoshop picture of Zach LaVine in a Spurs jersey.
It looked horrible.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Zach did not look as good in the Spurs jersey as he does in the Bulls jerseys.
He did not.
But so no, Jock, I think that was just DeJounte Murray being silly. Because look, he and Zach are good buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And
Zach even acknowledged that today, and he said, they're friends. He was just messing around, but
just playing around.
Zach's a showman. He's not going to San Antonio. Come on.
Come on, baby. He can put on a show at the Riverwalk.
Maybe that's not the scare that some Bulls fans have felt, because why would you leave Chicago for San Antonio? Mm-hmm. But some Bulls fans are scared, he's going to go to an even bigger or more, enticing market. He'll go to one of the LA teams, or he'll go to Miami, or he'll do that, or maybe even New York. And I'm like, no, he's not. But even though I don't think that anything that we heard from Zach today should scare us, let's still go over it.
Sure.
Because to me, basically, it sounded like a guy who has new representation and was coached by that representation how to make sure he knows that his current team that he wants to keep playing for knows that they better pay him every penny.
Kaplooey.
Zach LaVine saying, it's a big decision. I'm going to take my time and look through everything. It's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Standard issue.
There you go.
That's standard issue, man. That's all that is. It's simple talk. And I hope he takes all the dinners, all the meetings, I hope he does all these things. because he's never, ever been able to do that.
First time an unrestricted free agent.
That being wanted. DeMar DeRozan talked about it last year. He was like, that was my first time like that. And what did he do? He took a million different meetings with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on through. Come talk to me. Zach has never had that. And Zach's is different too, Will, because Zach has never had that, been at that respect level until this year. This is like this first year where he's like been at that respect level in the NBA where everybody's like, dude, yeah, Zach LaVine for sure. This guy right here. So I hope he takes his time. I hope he enjoys all the flowers that will be thrown at his feet from these other teams just to let him know where he stands in this league. And then after he does all that, come on back home, homie, because the light is going to be on. Come on and hang out.
Yeah, I mean, totally agree. He is a max player. I don't care if you have a problem with him. He has his flaws, but he is a max player, and he will be given a max contract from the Chicago Bulls. And I'm sure other teams will want to give him a max contract, because who wouldn't want a max player like Zach LaVine on their roster? I think he has every right in the world to take these meetings and get wined and dined and wooed. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't make financial sense for him when the entire time his whole point has been, I want to be given the respect that I deserve. And I think part of that is letting other teams tell you how good you are. That's part of what I deserve. And then getting as much money as you can. And that's where the Bulls really have the upper hand. I just wrote about this and filed to our fearless leader, Kevin. So he'll have it edited pretty soon and out on the interwebs shortly. But I mean, he'd be sacrificing like $55 million over the course of his contract by signing with another team. The Bulls can offer him 5-year deal. Other teams can only offer him 4 years. The Bulls can offer him 8% annual raises. Other teams can only offer him 5%. And I just think it would be pretty silly for him to sign elsewhere. And then on top of that, you look at who even has the space to be able to pull something like that off. It's the Pacers, the Pistons, and the Spurs.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's not going to any of those small markets. So it definitely is concerning in the sense that he didn't just come out and say, yep, sign me back up, give me the max and I'll sign it. But I think he is just making it clear that I'm taking this seriously, that I'm not messing around with any injury provisions or taking less so that the Bulls can. He's not doing that. And don't mess around with him. He's a max player. Give him a max contract. Worry about the rest later.
Thank you.
Preach on it, Will. Preach on it,
Apparently
Will.
not everyone sees it as that cut and dry. Michael in the comments said Zach signing with the Pacers. Who in their right mind would choose the Pacers?
He said Pacers, Spurs, and what was the other team?
Pistons. Those are the teams with cap
Yawn,
space. No.
gag, and snore. All right.
I think you missed a puke somewhere in there. Yeah.
And on top of that, to leave $55 million in a market like Chicago. All right. When you sign with a guy like Rich Paul and that crew, you're not trying to leave and go to the Pacers. You're not about to turn down money and leave a city like Chicago
you
to
seen
go to
all
a
these
smaller
national
market team.
commercials Zach has been in during these gaps and timeouts and TV timeouts of NBA playoff games?
I've seen them. Carfax.
Dude's face is everywhere.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew,
Yeah, and then
Mountain Dew.
I can't believe Zach is friends with Charlie Day. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is
fantastic.
Awesome.
The other thing there is the potential for a sign-in trade, which I know a lot of people have been asking about. And I originally was under the impression that the Bulls wouldn't really be able to pull something like that off because Zach is not a restricted free agent. He is an unrestricted free agent. And that means that, the Bulls can't just match any contract offer that Zach signs from another team. But because so few teams have money this offseason, it would require the Bulls to play ball. And essentially that puts them in a position of power where, let's say he wanted to go to the Lakers and go play alongside LeBron and AD. Well, the Lakers are way into the tax, can't just sign him outright. So they would need to send the Bulls back some salary, matching salary, because if you do a sign and trade, you become hard capped. So you have to match that contract perfectly. And they're really not able to do that unless the Bulls take back Russell Westbrook. And in what world are the Bulls agreeing to ship Zach LaVine there just because Zach wants to play there?
Right.
So the Bulls do have the power to make it difficult for these deals to go down and therefore get more back in a sign and trade. But again, I mean, I think the risk of that is pretty low. I think it's more reasonable to imagine a sign and trade happening than him signing outright with the Lakers or with the Pistons, Pacers, or Spurs. But any of these teams would have to do a ton of cap gymnastics to free up the space. They would have to send out players and picks for other teams to take on that money. Like maybe the Thunder get 2 first-round picks from the Lakers to take Russell Westbrook's contract. Now maybe they have space, but it's just a lot going on. Other teams would have to help them out. I think by far, Occam's razor is like the most simple answer is probably the right one. And Zach's going to take the money that he earned and that he deserves. And by the way, he's been playing on an $18 million a year salary, which is basically half of what he deserves. Like he's getting the max. He wants that. That's what he is after. The Bulls have the best chance to give that to him. So maybe he demands a trade down the line. Maybe there's a sign and trade, although I think that's unlikely. But Zach is getting a max deal, and it's almost certainly going to be coming from the Bulls.
Hot fire Will is my favorite Will. Spitting that hot fire.
Listen to the man. We got people in our comments who still aren't grasping this, and I'm sorry that we have to explain it to you a million different ways. Raging Oracle can't pay him $200 million. Not sorry, 145, but not $200 million. He literally gave his team to the first alpha male that walked in the door. You mean the guy who Zach was thrilled arrived to help him win basketball games? Man, shut the fuck up. God, I hate dumb people.
The guy who is probably going to end up keeping Zach in town because he's not staying if the Bulls have another crummy year last year.
Hello.
I also and then sorry, Will, go finish.
I was just heated. I don't even remember what I was going to say.
But
hot fire Will, baby.
He continues. He says, you need an all-star power forward more than you need to re-sign Zach. And who is this all-star power forward that they should be going after? I don't understand.
Just go get one off of the all-star power forward tree.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite tree.
Right behind the Advocate Center.
Let me snatch that down real quick and throw it at you because it doesn't exist.
It's not like you're saving money if you pay him $140 million instead of $212, or if you just let him walk. You're just hurting yourself in that case because the Bulls are already over the cap. And the only way that they're allowed to operate that way is by re-signing their own players. So if Zach walks for nothing, it's not like you have that $50 million a year that you can now use elsewhere. And by the way, nobody else on the market this year is really worth that money either. So you lose the opportunity to spend that money. You lose your second best player and you have no way to replace him. Like I said, the only reasonable knock on any of this is maybe you want to trade him down the line, but you can only do that to get more assets if you re-sign him and give him the max. Right. So it's happening. It's happening, people. Every single thing, whether it's trading Vooch, giving up draft picks, signing DeMar, bringing Caruso Alonso, all of these things have led to this moment of we are going to sign Zach LaVine to a max contract. And the question was, is it a super max if he makes an all NBA team, or is it a regular max if he doesn't? And the answer is it's whichever he wants, because he is probably not going to make an NBA team. So it's going to be the regular max, but he's getting it.
My favorite, most recent example of, hey, Bulls fans who don't think he's a max player, you're an idiot, comes from our pal Mark K, who tweeted this out yesterday. Over the last 3 years, Zach LaVine is one of 18 players in the NBA to average 26 points, 4 boards, and 4 assists per 75 possessions. Every player on this list is on a max except Zach LaVine. And then Mark just said, you know where I'm going with this. ... But it's true. It's so simple and so true. Zach is a max player. And oh my God, if I have to explain to one more person.
Get him.
So I was watching on YouTube the exit interviews earlier today, right? And in the comments section, the live comments of Zach's exit interview, Bulls fans were going back and forth. Oh, I'm really worried he's going to ask for the max. He's not a max. And then somebody chiming in, well, I'm worried he's going to ask for the super max. He cannot.
He can't get the super max.
He can't get the super max. If I have to explain that to one more Bulls person, my head's going to explode. The super max is when a player earns specific honors of All-NBA or MVP or DPOY, who is then eligible to get 35% of the salary cap. It's not just like we're throwing around words that don't mean anything. Oh, a max and then a max, super max, and then a super duper super califragilistic max. No, they're just two different types of contracts. Zach's eligible for a max. He's not eligible for a super max.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Just cut it out.
Stop.
I said it yesterday, but like I think it's just a semantics thing. Like people are worried that this is the one max you get, and if you give it to Zach, then it doesn't work that way.
Right. Doesn't work that way.
It's just a phrase that's used to, like you said, signify that you're getting 30% of the total salary cap, which by the way is a number that goes up almost every season. So he's going to be locked in at like, I think it starts at 36 or $42 million next year in raises, but that goes up with the cap. So it becomes a smaller percentage of the cap as you go.
Yes.
And again, you still have 70% more of the cap, which you're able to bring in maybe another max player or a better depth. But at the end of the day, because Zach is already on the Bulls, they have his bird rights. They can go above the salary cap in order to bring him back, which is something that they cannot do with a player on another team. So let's say, I don't want to give Zach a max, so we're going to let him walk and try to bring in a new max player. One, there aren't any new max players. They don't exist. Two, you don't have the money to bring them in because the only way you're able to get that money is by re-signing your own players. So it just doesn't work. And if you are in the business of trying to win basketball games, you bring in good players. Zach is a great player, and you have to pay him what he's worth.
Oh, where's the ether beat when I need it, goddammit? The hot fire being spewed out of this wonderful man's mouth here, dude. My God. Oh, I'm just feeling good.
I can keep going if you want.
It's the best. Bro, I love it. This is amazing to me. I'm enjoying every second of this, man. Damn it, I wish we could play ether music on here, man, because I would love to put the ether beat under this right now. Like, because he is ethering these ridiculous comments that people are saying right now, man, and doing it logically, letting you know exactly where you can use this, like telling you, nope, this ain't gonna work. Nope, this ain't gonna work. Nope, you're dumb here, dumb here, dumb here, dumb here. This is all logic over here. Bottom line, he's going to be back here in Chicago, guys. That's it.
I do worry more about him trying to find his way out of town via sign and trade than I do the how should I say this? I think it's a bigger worry that he tries to leave than the Bulls giving him a max. Like,
they'll offer it. If he leaves, it's because he wants to go elsewhere. It's not because they're withholding the money.
Correct.
100%.
Correct.
Exactly.
All
and
on
I think
him.
if you end up on your roster over the next 4 or 5 years with a maxed Zach LaVine, that is a better outcome than him trying to leave for nothing right now. Or you get pennies on the dollar because of a sign and trade. So the like opportunity cost is just, it's not even a question. Like you absolutely have to give him the max. Don't mess around with any injury provisions.
Yep.
Don't try to get a team option. Don't try to make him take a little less so that, like, it's not going to help you there because you're already above the cap. You need to give him the max. Let him do his thing. You can even tell him, like, go have your fun, go have your dinners.
Yeah.
Like, the max will be sitting here waiting for you.
Go get wine and dine in 69. Just go enjoy free agency. The biggest offer will be here waiting for you when you get back.
Right at home, baby. Right at home.
And,
Your
like,
dinner is in the oven.
And if you hate Zach LaVine so much, I would say you're insane. But also, you can trade him if you have him under contract. Like, you can't trade him if he's gone. You get nothing. And then,
you
and
get
then
nothing.
What are you doing? You're out these picks. DeMar's 32, playing without a co-star. Vooch is in the last year of his contract. Like, what do you do from the franchise perspective if Zach LaVine walks for nothing? It just, there's no way.
And there's also no truth to the, well, then all of a sudden you sign Zach and maybe whatever happens, he doesn't play up to that, and then you have an untradeable contract on your hands. Not true. We have learned time and again there's no such thing as an untradeable contract in the NBA.
Don't exist.
It can happen. And if it's Zach who at some point wants out, that's yet another reason that his management, Rich Paul and Clutch Sports, is going to tell him to sign that offer from the Bulls. Because, hey, Zach, if a year from now, 2 years from now, you're only halfway through this contract and you want out of Chicago for whatever reason, we'll deal with that then. In the meantime, sign the most guaranteed money, and that's right here on the dotted line from the Chicago Bulls.
Go ahead, Will.
If he could get Ben Simmons out of Philly with 4 years left on his deal, he
Right.
can move Zach LaVine.
Hello.
Bingo.
That's just how it goes in today's NBA. And you're only at a loss if you don't have these guys. Both the Nets and the Sixers made out well in that deal of guys with bad contracts. So Zach LaVine is going to age well. He's one of the best shooters in the league. He's learning the game better, and I expect him to learn it even more working out with DeMar at these 4 a.m. workouts, which I'm hopeful that he's at. It's really not a question. By the way, he's like next year is going to be his age 27 season. He's entering his prime.
And let's let him go in his prime. No. Let him go in his prime. That was one of the best parts, I should say, with many verses you were spewing. That was amazing. But that was one of my favorite parts right there, talking about how he's still learning. He's still growing, y'all. Like he ain't finished yet. He's still adding things to his game and getting better. Haven't you watched it every year? Haven't you watched him add something new to his game every single year and get better? Now he's working on it up here. Mm-hmm. Now he's working on it on the mental, man. That's why he's with DeMar and all these guys. Oh my God. Like, you don't let that just walk out the door, y'all. He's good.
And I wanna say one more thing.
Please.
which is that in the past, especially when they originally signed him, my feeling at the time was this guy is a low-end sort of empty calories scorer, Kobe White type. And I know he's athletic and I know he can score the ball a little bit, but like, what does he really contribute? Are you better off using that money elsewhere? And the Kings offered him $18 million a year over 4 years, and the Bulls re-signed him, and I thought it was a bad idea. And I could not have been more wrong. And I have admitted it before on Twitter. I was very outspoken against that deal at the time. I was so wrong. Zach has outperformed that contract by like more than 2x, which is what he actually deserves on a contract level.
Yep.
He's an all-star player, like truly an all-star player, all-star talent. And it's a guy you need to have if you want to be good. Zach has well earned a max deal. And I get that he has flaws. I get that he maybe isn't the player that you necessarily peg a max player to be, but he is an all-star caliber player, and you got to pay him every cent that he's worth and just not mess around with it. Like you just don't mess around with talent like that.
You know what I liked also is that Will was like how angry he was getting. And I'm like, angry Will's tone is the same tone as regular Will's. It's the same exact tone, same exact coolness and everything.
The man is so calm and collected.
Yeah, man.
Even when he's angry.
He's like, I'm fuming mad.
I'm glad I'm tricking you guys because I'm feeling like I'm really getting
It's
revved
amazing. Like I'm really
It's so
amazed,
good.
dog. Seriously. That is amazing, man.
I've learned a lot from my days covering the team for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Rein it in.
Oh, who could forget the three alphas? What a glorious time. People in the comments are asking me to come at someone in the comments who said something dumb. I heard it. It's some guy named Michael who thinks that Io is a more important championship
You're yeller
piece
for
than-
hire now?
than-
Like-
yeah, apparently.
That's what you are? Okay.
Apparently. What do I get out of this? Other
Right.
than enjoyment of yelling at people.
He does get that.
'Cause I honestly,
That's true. You really do.
I do that for free.
He does.
Well, actually, I don't. They pay me, but
Well, yeah, that's right.
I would do it for free.
And he
Don't
has.
tell them that.
No.
All right, guys, we have reached 4 o'clock here in Chicago. We're almost to the weekend. I'm ready. Are you ready?
You're ready. Oh, I
Will,
know
are
you're
you ready?
Will's ready.
I think this is officially the weekend if we're done working on a Friday afternoon.
4 o'clock on Friday.
You're right.
And now that the season is over, we mentioned this yesterday, or maybe Wednesday post-game, we're moving to a Monday to Friday sketch.
Yeah.
We're bringing plenty of off-season content for you guys.
Seamless.
It's coming Monday to Friday.
Yes, man. It's on
That means
the
we
way.
actually get weekends back.
Yes.
I love that.
I know you love it.
I love it.
Say it.
Summer back is already.
Summer breeze.
This is the best comment I've seen today.
Oh
Okay,
my
what do we
God,
got?
that is good. That is good.
I swear, Bulls today would let MJ walk.
Barton Shaw, well done.
Barton is the winner because
You
you know
have
what?
won.
That he's right.
Yes.
Bulls Twitter is crazy.
He's right. No, he is right. I mean, I think Clyde Drexler's having a better year anyway.
Wilt Chamberlain, guy sucks.
You know what I mean? Could have turned on about him. Nobody can do that again. You think he's just going to get older, guys. He can't beat Detroit. It's no way you can do it.
Oh, my
Oh, my
goodness.
God. I can hear it now. I can hear it.
So we'll talk to y'all on Monday with a fresh episode. In the meantime, Make sure you're caught up on all of our awesome content at allchgo.com. Become a member if you aren't already. Get yourself that free shirt and access to all of Will's amazing content. Plus, it's NFL Draft Weekend. We got night 2 of the NFL Draft. We got our CHGO Bears crew live in studio again tonight doing a live show while the Bears are making their 2nd and 3rd round picks.
Yeah.
We've got Cubs post game after the Cubs play their night game. We got CHGO Bets with Cody and Sean coming up this afternoon. A full slate of content for all of you Chicago sports fans.
Shout out Corey.
So keep it right here on CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Follow Will on Twitter at Won't Gottlieb.
Won't he do it?
Dave's at Bow, BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We collectively CHGO _Bulls. Let's get Mark K back in the fold next week.
I would love
He was
that.
busy being like a guy with a job and a
family
a son to take care of.
Being a responsible adult. Yes.
Loser.
I know, right? What a loser. Thanks to our pal and our producer, Joey, for hanging out with us as always.
Joey.
Until next time, Bulls Nation, we love you. We appreciate you. See you, Red. Be good.